Hi there guys and welcome. This is a pretty special episode, so I just want to say a few words, but if you just want to get to the action, well, go to the time code that's on screen right now. Anyway, a few months ago, I was asked by EyeOfSol, who you may remember I have collaborated with before in her Help I'm a Fish video, to take part in an even bigger video. That being the Disney Bootleg collab, where I and several other YouTubers that, unlike me, are actually talented, such as Animat, Lutoon, Cellspecs, and many more, take down a grand total of 10 awful Disney princess bootleg films. And true to my heritage, I obviously chose to focus on the one based on the Danish fairy tale, The Little Mermaid. So I'm basically uploading this to allow those that want to see my segment in particular to be able to do so easily. And to fix a handful of editing mistakes that made it into the collaboration itself. Oops! Oh, and since I made this video a few months ago, it was actually filmed back in my old apartment, so if you're feeling nostalgic for that place for some reason, well, there's your last chance to see it. Anyway, make sure to watch the whole video by clicking the link up here or in the end card, and show everybody who took part in this some love. They all really brought their A-game, and it was a lot of fun to be a part of it, so thanks for inviting me, Sol. Anyway, with all that said, enjoy the video. The Little Mermaid. The high-budgeted musical family adaptation of a famous fairy tale by Danish poet Hans Christian Andersen, who has delighted people worldwide for over 2 centuries with his stories. The movie that brought the dream factory itself, Disney, back from the brink of destruction. The movie that started the Disney Renaissance, paved the way for tons of well-loved films following it, and upped the game when it came to theatrical animation in general. Despite what you may think about it watching it today with modern eyes, it is undeniably a classic and a monumental film in animation history. So of course fucking Golden Films, being the Disney mockbuster machine they are, had to get their grubby little mitts on it. And 3 years later, in 1992, when they were still called Trimark, they released their version of The Little Mermaid on the direct-to-video market. I'm Ash from Fiction Addiction, and being Danish myself, this thing leaves me more than a little annoyed. Now, there's obviously nothing wrong with making your own adaptation of a fairy tale. But considering this is a movie showing a mermaid accompanied by an undersea creature pet encountering a purple and black colored witch and falling for a black-haired prince, all drawn with obvious failed attempt at Disney eyes, I don't see how that applies here. But still, I guess we better give this movie a shot and try our very best not to drown in all this watering down of a classic. The film begins as our little mermaid, this time named Lena, and her dolphin pet Vink are headed back to the castle after one of their apparently regular excursions. As these utterly horrifying seahorse guards happily inform us, today is Lena's birthday, and she decides to celebrate it by ruining her sister's surprise party preparations. Trish, her older sister, is particularly miffed, but quickly lets it slide and gives Lena her birthday present. A beautiful pearl necklace that fails to fit over Lena's freaky Bratz doll head.
But it's your best wreath.
Oh, okay, so it's a wreath or whatever. Excuse me for not being up to date on my jewelry vernacular. But of course, Lena is not at all like all those other mermaids, because she dreams of one day visiting the surface world and meeting a handsome prince from the land up above.
You'll see, Vink. One day I will go to the surface and meet a handsome prince. You don't understand, Vink. There's a whole other world up there, and I've got to see it.
And that is absolutely impossible without a man by my side. Specifically a good-looking rich one in a position of power. Oh, and he absolutely has to have a big cock. However, it turns out that Lena is being spied on by the wicked witch Ursula. I mean Cassandra. Sorry, my bad. How dare I mix up the 2 wicked undersea witches with identical color palettes and 3-syllable names ending with an A? I mean, just look at her. She's an eel, not an octopus. That totally makes her a different character. Oh, bad me! Bad me! Anyway, Cassandra summons a whirlpool that doesn't seem to bother Lena one bit, blasting her to the surface where she spots a ship and tells Vink to go back to the castle and let her father know she'll be late so she can explore. Vink, however, refuses.
But you're my official royal pet. You're supposed to be my friend.
Well, if I'm your friend, how come you always get me into trouble?
You raise a very valid point, my flippered friend. But Vink eventually complies, and Lena spies a bit on the sailors dancing at 2 frames per second before she spots Prince Stefan and his butler Cosgrove.
Wanna go see a bear ride a motorcycle?
Do I? Let's roll! It's apparently the prince's birthday party too, but it's quickly cut short when a storm hits the ship, endangering the crew, and seemingly entertaining Lena to no end. Death and disaster! My birthday wish did come true! So the boat crashes and Lena drags one sailor to a piece of driftwood while Cosgrove and Prince Stefan try to save each other with little success. Lena spots this and drags the 2 of them back on land. Because, fuck that other guy. He's not handsome enough. Good luck finding land, asshole! So then Lena sleep molests the prince after dragging him to shore and swims away before the servants of the castle can get to him. Lena's father, King Triton, of course, is furious about Lena bailing on her own birthday party. And when she comes home, he really lets her have it, by essentially grounding her like a 10-year-old at the Reef Cottage. Not that it matters, because Vink shows up almost immediately to let her know she's ungrounded.
You can go back to the castle now.
Great! Oh, but first I want to see how the prince is.
Well, I'm not leaving you up there alone this time.
So this time, Vink joins Lena on the surface to keep her out of trouble. He of course questions why Lena is so obsessed with somebody she literally met yesterday, but Lena brushes him off.
Why? What's so special about him? You barely know him.
You wouldn't understand. You're just a fish.
I'm not a fish. I'm a dolphin. And that's not very nice to say. I'm your official royal pet. Don't you like me?
Of course I like you, but I love him.
Oh my god, Lena! Harsh! So when she doesn't find Prince Stefan on land, she swims back down to whine to Trish about it and beg her to help her see him again.
If I don't see him again, I'll die of sadness.
Okay, hold up. It is official rant time. Can someone please tell me how the fuck I'm supposed to care about this girl? So far, this girl has done nothing this whole movie but ignore the concerns of her friends and family, regularly emotionally abuse her so-called pet to the point where she tells him to his face that she doesn't love him, as well as openly manipulate and emotionally blackmail her own family when she doesn't get her way. Triton even outright says she always gets out of trouble by just crying about it. And all of this is obviously done in an attempt to make her charmingly rebellious. Kind of like a certain other mermaid. But here's the thing. Ariel wanted adventure and freedom first as a natural result of the conflict between her curious nature and her father's strictness and xenophobia. And then she fell in love with someone when she finally explored the surface, thus setting the rest of her story in motion due to her failure to grasp the consequences of her actions. Lena just wants a man for the sake of wanting a man. And even then, she specifically wants a prince out of some childish infatuation with the concept, even if she's literally known him for less than 2 minutes. And she wants it enough that she is more than willing to outright lie, cheat, and deliberately ignore her family for the slightest chance at getting it. Meanwhile, Ariel, no matter how you feel about her character, at least just genuinely forgets her other obligations because she gets caught up in her own interests. Of which Lena is shown to have exactly none, by the way. No, seriously! How am I supposed to root for a character that the filmmakers claim is everything that made Ariel likable, but continues to behave like the exact opposite? Anyway, Trish gives Lena a map to Stefan's castle, which she somehow has, and she swims up to see him again, causing Vink, the dolphin, to complain about swimming too much.
And I can't believe how much swimming is involved in this job.
Vink, if you don't want to be my official royal pet, I can always find a squid who'll take the job.
Oh, hold on. I have an app for this kind of joke. Just give me a moment here, and yep. Because it has tentacles, am I right? What is she? A Japanese schoolgirl? Luckily for Lena, the prince isn't happy either, as he's about to get forcefully married, but instead wants to find the girl that saved his life.
Oh, I'm not pleased with this, Cosgrove. I'm not pleased at all.
I know, kid, but it's tradition.
So obviously, after hearing this, Lena now wants to be human, and again manipulates her sister into helping her. She tells her about Earth's Cassandra, the sea witch, and Lena immediately heads to see her, only for her and Fink to get grabbed by creepy reef hands. Oh, hold on. I've seen enough hentai to know that this joke is a cop-out. This allows Cassandra to appear and rescue them and take them to her lair to the tune of... Ride of the Valkyries? What?
I know what you want, Princess Lena. You wish me to make you human, to give you legs so you can walk upon the land.
Was that the only evil music you could think of? Or, afford? So, you know the deal. Cassandra gives Lena a potion that turns her human in exchange for taking away her voice in a suspiciously familiar scene. Oh, pooh, now I can't verbally abuse Vink anymore. I guess that just leaves physical. This time, however, the witch warns her that if the prince marries someone else, Lena will turn into sea foam. So it seems there's a bit more at stake here. And with that, she keeps Vink captive and blasts Lena to the surface where she swims to the same island she left Stefan on. This doesn't go unnoticed by the local birds.
Oh my gosh! She's not wearing clothes, Cecil.
A sure sign that she's a mermaid turned human.
We better get her something to wear.
Huh. Either an animator screwed up or these birds have just found themselves. And if the latter, then good for them.
Oh, she can't talk.
You better come with us to the castle. We'll get you some help.
Oops, nope. Sorry, folks. Just lazy animators. Better luck next time, Tumblr. So Lena goes to the castle and she and Stefan quickly fall in love at a particularly bitching party. Why is it bitchin'? Let Cosgrove here tell ya.
I'm wearing blue socks.
Hey! Cut it out.
The acrobats have arrived.
However, Stefan is still supposed to marry another kingdom's princess Anna in a political marriage meant to prevent war, but he promises that he will marry Lena anyway after visiting her.
Oh, that will be difficult to explain, sire.
It is not necessary for me to offer explanations, Cosgrove. I am a prince.
Oh, good! She's an emotionally manipulative bitch, and he proudly abuses his regal status to get his way, even as the country is on the brink of war. Oh, these two were just made for each other. Also, I just want to say, look at how Cosgrove looks at Stefan through the whole movie and how hard they tried to save each other on the ship. I'm not sure this is a movie about a love story between a mermaid and a human. It looks more like the story of two gay men who can't have each other because of the oppressive monarchy they live in. Hey, as far as I'm concerned, that would make a way more interesting movie. And this is the point where the movie suddenly remembers that it's only 50 minutes long and tries to wrap everything up in the last 8. Stefan says he wants to marry Lena instead of Anna, but the other king says he'll declare war if he does. Vink, who somehow broke free from Cassandra's prison, sees something is wrong, the birds tell him everything, and he goes to fetch Triton. Triton throws a bitch fit and sinks the ship, Anna's own convenient love interest saves her, which convinces her father to call off the marriage, and the birds explain everything to Triton, who is then suddenly totally cool with Lena ditching her family and marrying a man he's never met. Happy ending for everyone. Holy shit. So, yeah, I don't think I need to further explain that this movie is just absolute drivel. No matter how much Golden Films may claim to produce quality family entertainment, this is very obviously a soulless cash grab designed with the very specific purpose of preying on confused grandparents' wallets in the video store back in the day. But even if I ignore that and just focus on it as a movie, its biggest crime is the sloppy writing. Let me just try and think of a good example. Where the fuck did Cassandra go? Remember Ursula? She was a fantastic villain with great presence who preyed on a naive girl's desires in order to usurp the king of the ocean. She had drive, she had ambition, she used despicable dirty tricks to get there, and she got off in an awesome climax after essentially having won. Cassandra enters the scene acting like she's a hotshot evil sorceress with an agenda, and then just disappears immediately after turning Lena human. She never shows any desire to rule or gain anything from this whole ordeal. She at no point attempts to make sure her own scheme works, and she's completely absent from the climax because apparently Golden Films couldn't afford to animate any motion that required more than 2 frames. As a result, Cassandra comes across not just as a bad villain and a waste of space, but as cursing Lena simply for the sole purpose of feeling like being a cunt on that particular day. Grade A writing, you guys! This movie is little more than a half-assed attempt to retell the Disney movie in half the runtime while changing the odd names, pieces, or hair color to keep lawyers off their ass. The film is far from a complete disaster piece exactly, it's at least somewhat comprehensible and not painful to look at, but it is horribly stock and clearly made with absolutely zero effort from anyone involved. I guess maybe you can use this thing to shut small children up for an hour or so, but I have said this before and I will say it again. Children deserve better than this, and shame on anyone for going out of their way to sell them any less. So bottom line is, screw you Golden Films. The only thing golden about you is the opportunity you gave a collab like this to call you out on your shit. I'm Ash of Fiction Addiction, and I'm out. See you another time, folks. Bye. Hi everybody, and thanks for watching my segment, but don't forget to watch the whole collaboration over on EyeOfSol's channel. It is a ton of fun. If you enjoyed this, please press the like button, leave a comment and subscribe for future videos, and don't forget to follow me on all my various social media. Once again, thanks for watching, and see you next time!